everyone, I'm back with another video. It's gonna be another story time. I wanted to share the story of when I had an STD scare. This was back in 2013. I had sex with this guy. This is before, well, when I went to the doctor for it was in 2013, but when I had sex with this guy, it was in 2012, like towards the end of 2012, and we had sex. Of course, we used protection. And instantly after we had sex, like, had to be not even 2 hours, I started discharging. So I'm thinking, oh, well, maybe it's just the condom or whatever, because he used Trojan condoms, and I've used, many different condoms, and Trojan seems to be the one that gives me a yeast infection every time I used it. It never failed. Every time I used it, I got a yeast infection from it. So I ended up getting one from the condom that he used. And of course I went to the doctor. I made a follow-up appointment a week later for a pap smear to see what's going on or whatever, see if there's anything more or whatever. And I went in, and she said that I had a yeast infection. She gave me the antibiotic for it or whatever, but she also said that my cells were abnormal. And I'm thinking, why would my cells be abnormal? Like, what's going on? She said, well, when your cells are abnormal, that's an indication of you having HPV. And that scared me, and I'm thinking, there's no way I would have that, because I've always used condoms with everyone that I was ever intimate with. I still use condoms to this day. So I was like, there's no reason why, I should even have that. But of course, condoms do break, so, you could potentially get an STD, and it could happen, So that was a worry for me. So my doctor told me that I needed to go see a gynecologist, and I needed to get a colposcopy, which is, it's like minor surgery, but they take samples of your cells, and they take samples of it, and just the whole thing is very messy. After the procedure it was like a 10-minute procedure, and after they were done, I was awake when they did it, but after they were done, I was in a lot of pain. I was discharging, and he said everything was, he said, when he did the test, he said, don't worry, we're gonna test this out. We're gonna see what the progression is on it, and what we can do to treat it, or what we can do to prevent you from getting cervical cancer cells, from this disease or whatever. So I said, okay, whatever. So I went home and I relaxed, and the doctor immediately told me, when he was done, he said, everything looks normal, everything looks fine, you look healthy, I don't see anything wrong with you. I just want you to go home, relax, don't think about it. Don't drive yourself crazy thinking about that you have something wrong, because I'm telling you right now, 9 times out of 10, you were fine and there's nothing wrong with you. So what did I do? I went home and I panicked. I was neurotic. I was anxious. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I had to wait 2 weeks for the test results to come back, and I was neurotic, you know, thinking about it. I was worried about it, you know. I was worried, you know, because, you know, now, you know, if I have this, now I have to tell, you know, my boyfriend, you know, at the time, look, you know, you need to, you know, I don't think it's safe to have unprotected sex because this is what I could have, and this is what they're testing me for. So I was scared, and he's like, you know, don't worry about it, just relax. I went in 2 weeks later. I went in and I seen the nurse, and she said, everything came back normal. And I said, what? She said, yes, everything came back normal. You're perfectly healthy, there's nothing wrong with you. And I'm like, so what was the test for? Why did I have to go through this test? She said, well, to tell you the truth, everybody, you know, in their mid-20s going on 30, they have to have this test done, like mandatory. And I said, well, why didn't my doctor tell me this if I had to have this mandatory test for this? She didn't say anything. She said everything was healthy, I was good. Meanwhile, I had to, you know, before I had this test done, I had to go and get the HPV shots because my doctor swore up and down I had it, and I had to get the vaccination for it. So, you know, I'm glad. I'm happy that I got the vaccination, because just in case, you know, in the near future, and, you know, something does happen and I end up contracting HPV, I got the shot, and I'm safe and I'm secure. I'm safe from cervical cancer. So, you know, from that disease, if I ever contract it one day or whatever. So I'm glad that I did get the vaccination. But my sister ended up having to go through that same test. She was nervous because her doctor, I was 25 when I got the test done. When she was 25, she had to get the test done too. And she was nervous too because her doctor swore up and down that she had it too when she didn't have it. And I think these doctors, they put the fear in you because they want you to get this test done, which I don't think they should even go about it that way. I think they should just mandatory, you know, tell you, look, you're reaching this age, you need to get this, you know, colposcopy done. Everybody at this age needs to get it done because it tests for HPV, it tests for cervical cancer. You know, you need to have this test done. But of course, they gotta go by it, you know, they gotta do the pap smear, and they gotta scare you, and they gotta say that there's something wrong with you during your pap smear when there's really nothing wrong. What was wrong, what the nurse told me was that because I had a yeast infection, your cells become abnormal because it's a sign of an infection. When your cells are abnormal, it's a sign of an infection. So that could be a yeast infection, it could be any type of infection, you know, going on in there. You know, that's the reason why cells would be abnormal. Well, my doctor at the time didn't tell me this, and she put the fear in me. I was scared. I'm like, now I'm gonna have this for the rest of my life. I could potentially have cervical cancer in the near future. I was scared. But everything came back normal. So I was happy. I was, you know, getting this test done. It was really painful having a colposcopy done. If you ever had one, my experience from it was very painful. I can't really describe the pain. Like, it was pretty bad. And, it's something that I don't ever want to go through again, you know. Using a condom led to a yeast infection, led to a pap smear, then led to a colposcopy for HPV. That was when I was 25. That's what I had to go through. That was my STD scare. So I just wanted to, you know, share that with you. And yeah, if you guys ever had a scare like that and ever had to go through a test similar to what I had to go through, you know, please share. I mean, I know I'm not the only one out there that had to go through this test, but that was my experience with it. That's what I had to go through. That was my STD scare. Yeah. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, comment, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.